A lot of us think that confidence comes from success, it comes from recognition, it comes from getting results, it comes from people noticing you. So they wait and they tell themselves, when things start working, I'll feel more confident. When I achieve more, I'll believe in myself. When people see me, I'll be sure of who I am. But that's not how this works. Hey guys, welcome to the Advantage podcast with KMR. I am KMR. Well, my name is Rejoice Azuka Owuseba, but everyone calls me KMR, Kingmaker Rejoice. And this is one podcast where we have conversations where you think, where you come out of your comfort zone and you confront those limiting beliefs and limiting behaviors and limiting patterns that you ordinarily would not confront. I look forward to you growing and becoming through this podcast. Hi there. Welcome back to the Advantage podcast. Let me start with this. A lot of people are trying to look confident without actually feeling it. You see it everywhere. The way people speak, the way they present themselves, the way they carry themselves in public. It looks strong, but if you pay attention, you'll notice something. Not all confidence is real. Some of it is performance, and performance is hard to sustain because real confidence is not loud. It doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need the constant validation. It's steady, and most importantly, it is built. A lot of us think that confidence comes from success. It comes from recognition. It comes from getting results. It comes from people noticing you. So they wait and they tell themselves, when things start working, I'll feel more confident. When I achieve more, I'll believe in myself. When people see me, I'll be sure of who I am. But that's not how this works. Because if your confidence is built on results, it will rise and fall with them. One good outcome, you feel strong. One setback, you're back to being unsure again. That's not stability. That is dependence. Real confidence comes from something else. It comes from the Lord. And it comes from trusting in who He has made you. From knowing that when you decide something, you follow through. From knowing that when things don't go as planned, you won't fall apart. From knowing that you can rely on God. And that kind of confidence is not built in public. It's built in private. In the small moments that is repeated over time. Let me give you an example. You're going to do something. Nothing big. Just something you planned. No one is watching. No one is expecting it from you. You can easily ignore it, but you don't. You do it anyways. That moment may not look like much, but it matters. Because every time you follow through, you send yourself a message. I can trust myself. And over time, that message becomes a mindset. Now, think about the opposite. You say you do something, you delay it, you avoid it, you move it forward again. Nothing dramatic. It happens often. And over time, you send yourself a different message. I do not always follow through. That's going to affect how you show up. The more you hesitate, you doubt yourself more. You second guess your decisions. It affects the way that you show up. Not because you lack ability, but because you've weakened self-trust. And self-trust is one of the anchors of self-confidence. So when people say they want confidence, what they're really looking for is stability. They want to feel grounded, certain, and steady in themselves. This comes from being aligned with your authenticity, with being intentional about how you show up, alignment between what you say you want and how you actually live. So you say you want to grow, but your daily choices do not reflect that. That gap creates tension, and the tension reduces your confidence, not because you are incapable, but because you are inconsistent with yourself. This is what people get wrong. You're trying to fix confidence by changing how you appear. You want to speak louder, you want to act bolder, you want to look more certain. But that doesn't always last, because you cannot perform your way into real confidence. You have to build it. And building it is not dramatic. It's small, it's quiet, it's repeated. You wake up when you said you would. You complete what you planned. You follow through on simple things. You keep your word to yourself. Not perfectly, but consistently. And slowly something starts to shift. You start to feel more stable, more grounded, more certain. Not because everything is perfect, but because you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you don't need to prove anything. You don't need to rush decisions. You don't need to compare consistently. You move with more calm, more clarity, more control. That's real confidence. And I want to end with this. You don't need to wait to feel confidence before you start. You build confidence by starting and following through, even in small ways. Don't try to overcomplicate this thing. Pick something simple, something that you've been delaying for a while, and follow through on it. Not for the results, but for yourself. Because every time you do that, you're strengthening something inside you, something internal. And that internal strength is going to show up in every area of your life. So before we go, sit with this and be honest. Do I trust myself to do what I said I would do? Don't try to be quick to answer it. Think about your patterns, because that answer will explain a lot. The advantage is not looking confident. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to pretend. I'll see you in the next episode. Remember, take action and follow through. Make decisions, follow through.